I should say I experienced all. I enjoyed everything. So yeah, so it also offers a lot of opportunities for cross applications of ideas. Basically, when I am dealing with Indo-German business networks at the chamber level, as well as the trade fair industry, I would say there's a lot of cross application of ideas and also networking across industries. So basically, learning new things on a daily basis from all the various hats I wear. But okay, I have only one hat, and just that maybe my hat is colorful. I wouldn't say I don't wear a lot of many hats, but I would say I wear a colorful hat, which has basically colors of life and more important, colors of people. I mean, I'm a people's person, and that's why I am where I am. If it was just sitting in front of some figures and some computers and some corner of the office, I think I wouldn't have survived. Because I think that's for you as well, and that's for people you mentioned who were part of your forum in the past weeks, including people like Mr. Sethi, or including people like Mr. Binu, or including people like Bala, and including people like you. And I think once we got addicted to this business, we never looked back,
Very true.
because at the end of the day, we were all people's people.
Very true. Absolutely. Absolutely. So now the question comes that yes, I mean challenges, stresses, uh, stressful activities on this exhibition sites. But as a woman, did you really face any challenge on the in the exhibition industry? And if yes, what were those challenges? And would you recommend exhibition as a career, especially for a girl or for a woman?
Okay, I like to be called a girl, so I think we're all young girls. It feels nice in the times of COVID also to feel younger, because we all said that 2020 is already out of our so-called age. Yeah, so this year is gone. So we can all tell ourselves that we are 1 year younger and not 1 year older.
Very
So,
true.
answering your question, much like any industry, the sector of trade fairs or the exhibitions has also its fair set of challenges. I wouldn't say challenges for women or men, but fair set of its own challenges, which every industry has. But roles such as sales and operations, and for that matter, even leadership, have been mostly male dominated, if I may say. And the initial period for me getting into the industry required an extra bit of gut, just an extra bit of gumption, and I would say an extra bit of mood. You say in German mutisch, which means courageous. So I think I just needed a little bit of additional mood and gut to be basically, yeah, thrive in this industry. But yeah, once in a while, or maybe occasionally, one had to actually prove one's worth twice, if not just once, to be acknowledged. But I would say this has changed over years. And I wouldn't say that this industry is only for men or only for women. I think it's industry for people who like people, people who believe in people, people who love to talk, people who love to network, and people who like to create relationships or nurture relationships. And at the end of the day, every business boils down to people and people's chemistry. So I would say, yeah, as a woman, has been an interesting journey, especially because I had some interesting men all around me in the exhibition industry. So I would say compliments go to you, because you made it comfortable. And to be honest, in my career, I also had all male mentors, who basically encouraged me to do better. So I think there were three key factors. One is talent, second is performance, and the third is attitude. So we all know what talents we have. So we're born with certain talent. We just have those inherent talents. But how do you bring those talents into good performance is by the attitude we develop towards life, towards our job, towards our peer, towards our working environment. And how do we hone our performance is by upskilling ourselves every day, is by learning every day. I think the learning process just doesn't end. So whether it is a man or a woman, I would say reflect on these three things. I repeat: talent, performance, and attitude. And attitude being the most important, double underlined. Now I'm like talking like a teacher, but I can't help it. I was a teacher. So once a teacher, always a teacher. So, yeah, I would say women, I would encourage everybody to join this industry. I don't know if I answered my question, your question carefully, but maybe we go on and maybe I add a little more later.
No, no, of course you have answered the question very, very categorically, very, very specific, being very specific, giving those three major activities or the actions to be done, the talent, the attitude, and the third one I forget. Yeah,
Sorry, these are the three.
yeah,
But as I say, you can outshine by improving your performance
yeah.
and by honing your talents. Basically, by the attitude which you would like to develop towards life, towards work, towards everything what
Yeah,
life has to offer. And again, also important is opportunities are not always coming to you, because not everybody is not that lucky being at the right time, at the right place, that the opportunity is there for you.
very
You
true.
have to go and seek opportunities.
True,
It's
true.
important, because you just can't be sitting in your chair. Because I'm seeking an opportunity today to talk to you and the audience. So, what I mean is, we really need to seek opportunities.
Very true, very true. So, Sonia, now Nuremberg Messe, which is another messe in India now, you have been doing exhibitions and doing trade fairs. In fact, you have done a few acquisitions and running those shows also very successfully out here. So, does Nuremberg Messe or Indo-German Chambers hire interns? And if yes, then what is the criteria for such selections? Is there any specific procedure or how do they go about it? And suppose you take interns, so do these interns eventually get a permanent assignment? Of course, if you find them good or if they are good, only then people will think of absorbing them or continuing with them for a longer period. So is there any some system like this?
Yes, Himanshu, to say it very, very emphatically and categorically is, yes, we do hire interns and train interns, because we love to train, we love to nurture. Because the youth, I hope you have enough youth attending today. And maybe if Mr. Sethi wants to join also as an intern, I'm happy to take him, maybe Sudeep as well, because we love to train. So yeah, so we do hire and we do train interns on a regular basis, because as I said, the youth is the present and the youth is the future. So I have to invest in the present today to make my future bright. So they just have to make an approach to us by sending their updated resumes or CVs. And we have a lot of interim intern retainer roles, which have also transitioned into a full-time role within the organization, whether it is a chamber or Nuremberg Messe. I would say follow our social media channels for regular updates and openings. And yeah, get introduced to the Indo-German huge network. The chamber is going to actually celebrate 65 years in India, and
Okay.
that's going to be next year. And I think our target is also to make sure that from 1800, 2000 German companies, if we can double those companies in the next 10 years, would be my wish.
Wow.
And wherever the interns and the trainees can play a role there, I'll be more than happy, because China has about 5,000 German companies present in
Oh,
present
oh,
there, and we have only just about 1,800 to 2,000. So I think there's a huge potential, and India, being India, however complex democracy it could be, and however diverse could it be, I think it's interesting. It's interesting, and more important is that the growth is happening step by step. It's not just an overnight story. When you look at China in the last 20 to 30 years, the level which it has reached is absolutely commendable. But at the same time, I believe in the Indian story, because at least the story goes on. It's going on, and it's going on not just for the next 5 years, but it goes on for the next 20, 30, 50 years, because we are making small steps one after the other. And also with fantastic demographics which India has, I think the world must look at us, and God willing, government willing, politics willing, and more important, the youth willing, I think there's a huge opportunity for this country. And that way, I'm, to be honest, not arrogantly proud, but very happily proud to be working in this industry, where we have basically boosted business, we've boosted economy, and more important is boosted interpersonal relationships.
fantastic. So anyway, I mean, I have seen you as a person from the chambers when you used to bring in those delegations and the participation, German participation, and now the leadership, what we see, that's a great example. And you have really, I think you are enjoying your work, and I think you are going to take it to next level. There is one question always in my mind. This Nuremberg Messe is an organization in the exhibition industry where you have the largest number of girls or women, what do I say, girl employees or women employees. And if it was 25 years ago, I would have pushed myself, my case, and got into your organization 100%. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But now tell me, how did this happen? I mean, how so many women in the largest number of women employees or girls in your organization?
Okay, Himanshu, my question to you is, who is controlling and organizing your life?
Well, now because I'm working from home and at home, I have to accept, and my wife is sitting right across here, so I have to say, of course, she is controlling. If I was out, I would have said something else. So
Okay, okay. But even though you are out, back home, there was somebody also controlling and organizing your life.
obviously, obviously,
So the answer is that organizing and planning and nurturing, this comes very naturally to women. It's not that we were trained for that, but somehow we were born with that as well, and then later trained with that as well. So these three things are coming very naturally to women. So when it was with the chamber, when we look at job at the chamber, that's also basically organizing and planning, and also for trade fairs, and that's the skill which you need. And I realized that, of course, when I entered the chamber, I was surrounded by women, and that was the answer given to me. And then I realized, yes, it does make sense. And somehow, if you look at trade fair industry, especially abroad and especially in Germany, you will see maximum percentage of women in those companies,
hmm,
because they are doing great finance controlling your budgets.
hmm,
I can see one of our colleagues from ISHRE joining, Nivedita,
hmm,
who is always controlling the budget of one of the esteemed associations. So it
hmm,
comes very naturally to her. So basically, yeah. Um, uh, so these women were doing the planning, nurturing jobs very, very fantastically.
yeah,
And that's how the genesis of our organization was also an all women organization. I think it was also important to note that we were giving a very conducive and a very balanced working atmosphere, which automatically attracted a lot of women. In fact, on a lighter note, we always laugh because now I believe in equality of gender, and that's why we had men joining the organization as well. Of course, they're equal important members of my organization, but we always laugh that probably they had to break the glass ceiling to be integrated into this women dominated organization. But jokes apart, I don't know how did it happen. How did all the women come together and work together as women dominated? But I think it just worked well because the attributes which were required for the business came very naturally to them. And somehow, when I arrived, I only saw women, and probably it became natural to me as well. And slowly and gradually, we became awakened, and we realized that. To drive so-called the life, you need equal partners, and that is why each member of my team today is equally important, irrespective whether it is a male or a female, whether it is a boy or a girl.
Great. So you think the gender has a role to play in this, and specifically you say that okay, women have the ability, have the nurturing which has come to them naturally, the quality.
I
So
wouldn't say gender has to play a role. I think the caliber or the talent or the attitude has a role to play. And
fair enough.
yeah, so I think that was more important than to say that women do a better job or a man does a better job or a different job. But I would say both are equal partners. We need.
Fair enough. So what would be your advice to aspiring woman leader? I mean, particularly in this industry, because we are talking about exhibitions as an industry. So what would you advise a
You
girl
mean to
or
the
a,
aspiring women?
yeah, aspiring women in the industry? Yeah.
I would say the aspiring women for the to take up roles in the exhibition industry. I would say it's a very exciting industry. I would say it's a very fulfilling experience. And for me, the most exciting part is when you create something on floor plans. It's like a sketch. It's like you fulfill a dream when you fulfill a dream by converting those floor plans into live exhibitions. It's almost like giving birth to a baby. So you're nurturing, and you are developing, and then you see the baby there, live baby there. So that is something which is the most exciting part of the exhibition industry. And the advice, if I may give, I would say just believe in yourself and your capabilities and pour your passion, really pour your passion into your work, hustle hard and achieve your goals. Because if you don't enjoy your work, it can be a pain coming to your office. And I think the exhibition industry, especially, is not something where you don't like to come to office. It's every day is an exciting challenge, and we don't even have a single day which is boring. So if you really want your work life to be super interesting, challenging, and people oriented, then I would say this is the industry to be. It's unfortunate that we're going through a little bit of critical time, but this is there to stay. I mean, the exhibition industry is there to stay. I mean, we're not just going to vanish from the scene just with one corona or one COVID. I mean, could take few months, but we're there to stay. And I would also say to the women, and especially to the aspiring women, that just don't fall prey to the shackles which we are attempting to break free from every day. I mean, and for the leaders, and especially also the women leaders, but in particular the leaders, I would say always prioritize caliber and intent over gender, and create equal opportunities for all of them. I think it's very, very important. So, yeah, I would say welcome, women. Please be
Welcome.
part of this most exciting industry.
Yeah. After hearing you, I hope the other exhibition organizers, the they hire more women, and the men are going to be very happy and exciting for them. Uh, so now,
I also want to make the work environment interesting. Imagine just you men sitting in an office, with no gossips around. Come on. I mean, and again, all women sitting all by themselves and not having some fun with the boys. So we need both men and women joining this industry.
very very true. So now, Nuremberg Messe has uh, been there for a few number of, I think, 10 plus years, right?
I would say 80 years. Of course, active in the Indian market for several years, for nearly
Oh,
25 years.
okay, okay. So now, what are the plans? I mean, how do you plan to take Nuremberg Messe to a greater heights in India, and to have a successful acquisitions, more shows, more doing your shows which happen, your what do I mother shows in Germany, trying to bring in some. So what are your plans, and how do you want to take it forward?
So Himanshu, the German trade fair companies, exhibition companies have been actually active in the Indian market for a long time, for nearly 20 years plus.
Yeah,
They were originally all working and represented via the chamber, and it was
correct.
about 20 years back, one after the other, they all started forming their own offices in India. So I would say Nuremberg Messe, from that perspective, is a new kid on the block. However, a happy kid on the block, and also I would say innovative kid on the block. And so basically, the exhibition business, especially in India and of course worldwide as well, has developed into a global player industry.
Okay,
It is also the harbinger of globalization. So it substantially contributes basically to building global networks and plays a crucial role in the development of economic regions and opens up new markets. We've all seen that over several years, for export as well as for trade. So Nuremberg Messe has tried or attempted at least to strengthen its position with the portfolio of the trade fairs, which we have today via acquisitions of some very important shows which were happening, which were taking place in India for several years. And they were the leading shows for this region, whether it was the wood shows, whether it was a broadcast show, whether it was Paint India. So we acquired some leading shows, and of course, it was important from our strategy point of view as well, because we had similar events in Germany, or we had similar events across the world. So it fitted in our so-called global strategy, and India being also one of the important markets. So one was that, and second was also to develop further brands which we brought from our home market, basically from Germany into India, to spur some more growth. And I think important is that we have some leading industry vertical shows. And more important is that how do we use them to develop the industry here? Because why are we existing? Why do trade fairs exist? Not just to sell square meters and bring those booths there, but the fact remains is the whole purpose of trade fairs is to develop markets and to develop the industry. The industries also become more structured via the trade fairs, whether they realize it or not realize it. But the fact remains that the trade fair industry cannot be just seen as one-off event. It's a harbinger of industry development. And more important, which I love to say all the time, is exhibitions and trade fairs are basically building aspirations. And aspiration is something which we all live with. I mean, if I go to an auto show and I look at this fancy car, and I say, wow, this car is there, I aspire that one day, I would love to buy this car. you know so it's building aspirations. When I look at my competitor just across 5 meter aisle or 3 meter aisle, launching some new technology, and I say, okay, 10 years later, 5 years later, 2 years later, I'm going to develop a better technology. Yeah. So basically, we are watching new technologies, we're watching competition, then also we are building aspirations, and we're developing industries. So I would say Nuremberg Messe would love to do that, and that's our aim, not just to sell square meters, but to develop industries, develop markets, and most importantly, double underline, bring India on the map uh, a little bit more prominently, not just for only bad reasons, but only for good and good reasons.
Fantastic. So you see, you have been seeing this industry for many number of years. What are the changes you have observed in Indian exhibition space over the few years? I mean, when we started, both of us started when it was at a nascent stage, of absolutely nascent stage, and today it's we won't say that it is absolutely matured, but yes, I mean, we have gone a long way, and we have come to a stage where people can say that okay, Indian exhibition industry is also a big industry, a grown industry, and a very vibrant industry. So how do you see that? What are the changes you have seen over the years?
Yeah. Over the years, first of all, I mean, you also started your career more or less the same time, the trade fair industry, a little, maybe a bit earlier than me, but we saw that the industry was dominated by the industry associations who
Yeah.
basically were dominating the trade fair market. Now, whether it was CII, FICCI, IMTMA, EMA, who were also conducting the leading shows. And the statement which I made previously also strengthens the fact that those industry associations also thought the trade fairs and exhibitions were important to develop the markets further. Yeah. And that was the reason that they got into exhibitions as well. So the Indian exhibition industry was dominated by these industry associations. And as and when India became important, as and when our foreign trade policies and foreign direct investment policies changed, it also became very attractive for international players to foray into the Indian market. And that's the reason almost more than 20 years back that Messe Frankfurt India, for example, decided to open an office in India. Yeah, followed by Messe Düsseldorf, Messe Cologne, then Hanover, Munich, and Nuremberg Messe, and then Spielwarenmesse, including the UBM and Informas and Reed and ITE. So which means the market became very attractive for international players also to bring their brands from the home markets to India, also to also make it as a meeting point for so-called not just the Indian subcontinent, but for also international players who looked at the Indian market as the emerging future growth potential market. So I think I wouldn't say there was no seriousness or there was no professionalism, because when I look at old pictures from Elecrama or Auto or Plast India, and I look at Auto Expo, I mean, exhibitions were very professionally organized and beautifully organized with whatever resources and hall conditions were available with us, because I think there was a lot of joy in organizing those exhibitions as well.
Yeah.
However, the market has matured. We have some excellent venues. Today, we can boast of. And those days, we had limited capacity. So when you look at Bangalore International Exhibition Center, today you look at IML Greater Noida, you look at High-Techs Hyderabad, and you look at the progress which is being made by Dwarka Exhibition Center and Pragati Madan, our favorite old Pragati Madan. I think it's very clear that the future of the Indian exhibition industry is just bright. I mean, even if there is a small little pause here, because the fact remains that there'll be much more professionalism coming into the industry. I think there's no reason that we should be sulking at this point of time. So, our lives, we kept said that let's not have a hectic life. Oh God, trade fair industry, hectic industry, whatever, whatever. But the fact remains today, you have this little pause to ponder as to how can we do better. And by the time this pause gets over, you have these excellent venues which will be available for you to do more exhibitions, and the ones which are already modern, technologically developed fairgrounds, they'll be upgrading themselves. So I think the future is absolutely ours.
Great. In fact, this positive side, everybody should know. In fact, the youngsters, whoever, I mean, there are a few youngsters, the students who have joined in, must know that this is an industry which is it's going to be there, it's going to stay, and it's growing, and you are going to have a more advanced technology, at the same time better exhibition venues to do your shows. So, so I would ask finally, what would you say? What is the scope for individuals who decides to join this industry? And what do you think? What are the do's and the don'ts? If you would like to specifically make a mention about, I mean, how does one join? What is the scope? And what they should do and what they shouldn't do? What kind of an advice, Sonia, you would like to give them?
I again go back to the word which I use, the attitude,
Yeah.
as to what is the attitude towards your talent and your skills which you have. And most important is, if you are people's people, only then you enter this market or this industry, because whether you like it or not like it, you'll have to interact with people. And the willingness to learn, the willingness to multitask, and also the willingness to basically, upskill yourself every day. If you have these desires or ambitions, I think the exhibition industry is the industry which will give wings to your aspirations. So that is something you have to be very clear about, and not complain, oh my god, this is a very hectic industry. Of course, but that was the whole joy about it as well. It was the whole excitement about it as well, because it was very clear that it was labor intensive. It was very clear that um, it was excitement intensive, but your willingness to give that, go that extra mile, has to be there to be entering this industry, I would say. And the don'ts, I don't think so I have any don'ts, because it's like a dream market. It's like a dream industry. It's like a Bollywood industry where you have to put the stage every day, put the act together, and be the best actors, or the Shah Rukhs and the Salmans, or the Saifs, or the Akshay Kumars, of this industry. So I would say, believe in yourself, and if you think this is your industry, so train yourself as well. And if even if you're interning and training yourself in an organization, to start with, for example, you go to a trade fair company, you're interning them for a year, don't think that you know the game just within your 1 year, and try to find mentors. I think mentoring is also very important, and I think that's the intention which you have, Himanshu. And I think you've taken upon your shoulders a great responsibility, because I think training and skilling will be the key to your success, because it was not just the education we came with, whatever training or science or German or education. I think the maximum skills which I acquired, or the maximum potential which was unleashed, was only at the job. So basically, if you find the right mentors, and my advice would be also, go for an organization which gives you the right environment, and which gives you the right mentors.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Money will come in any case. But if you say that within your first year, I should make the money which I want to make 5 years later, to be honest, don't make that wrong choice. Because we all sustained ourselves in organizations because of the mentors we had.
Very true.
So I think that mentoring, which is coming in any case free to you while you are on the job. So choose an organization which gives you a conducive environment, and choose an organization which gives you the right mentors. And money will come in any case. So choose the M for mentor before you choose the M for money. So look at the right company to make your career, because the foundation which you lay will be very, very crucial. Yeah. Because the future will be yours if you've gathered the right skills.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that you said this, and I envy the guys who work with you, because I'm sure whatever you are talking, whatever you are preaching, you must be practicing it there. In fact, you asked me sometime a question that who rules, or who takes the decision, or who calls the shots. Yes, the, the lady in the house. But I want to make a mention about when I started my career with Business India exhibitions. My boss was a lady boss, Firoza Bilimoria. I don't know whether you have had an opportunity to meet with her, but she was to join in, but she had some urgent meetings, so she couldn't join. So she was the person who gave us the guidance. She was mentoring us, and that is how we got into this particular area of work. And I remember one of those. I'll just take 2 minutes to give this particular incident. She used to get very hyper when she used to be at site, and those days we never had these laminated systems. We had people painting it, and one of the shows, the painters, they couldn't complete the job, or she felt that they will not complete the job. She took the brush, so she took the brush and she started painting herself. So she that was a kind of a inspiration, that that lady was willing to do anything. I mean, she never felt that why should I do this small job. So that is how that the mentoring, or how you end of the day develop yourself. So I think you said it, and really it's a great uh, what do I say, advice to the youngsters who would want to get into this particular industry. And I'm really thankful. I really thank you for your time, Sonia. Is it? Do you have time if we I ask the participants if they have any specific questions? Can we take a few?
Yeah, okay.
Uh, uh, the participants, I now the floor is open for any questions you have. We are ready to take the questions.
Yeah. They maybe they put the questions in the chat
Yeah,
box
in the
on
chat
the.
box. Yeah, in the chat box, if they can put the questions, and then we will address, and I will of course request Sonia to address. Sonia, when sometime back when you said that Mr. Sethi can join as a uh, to join your organization, I think Mr. Sachin Handa was saying that I would also like to join that.
Actually, I would say if I would look at all these gentlemen, they have been also somewhere or the other mentors to me as well, you know. And I think mentorship is not about one level high and one level down. Mentorship is also about one on one. So if I teach my team member or mentor them, I really promise I have every day something also to learn from them. You know, even a bad idea can be a good idea. So if we leaders are also open to listen to ideas, I think mentorship can be rewarding for them as well, because it's not just mentorship from a father to a daughter or from a boss to a colleague, but a mentorship can be from a person to person as well.
Very true. Very true. So I don't think there are any questions, Sonia.
I think that Sure, and I'm available for any questions for the attendees here. Please drop in an email to me, and I'm happy to chat. And most important is stay healthy, stay safe. Um, um, we are all glad 2020 is over, almost
Absolutely.
over. So I think celebrate your Christmas. With all the vigor and the zest which you have, and the positivity is most important. And look forward to 2021, which could be a little bit more tough as well, but we are all here to stay. So stay alive, stay alive, mentally, emotionally, and
Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much, Sonia. Thank you very much. And I take this opportunity to thank the participants, everybody for this wonderful time. And Sonia, it was really, really nice to talk to you and understand it. After, okay, we have not been meeting every time we say that let us meet, but at least we get to meet virtually and we talked about so many things. Thank you so much and all the best. And Merry Christmas to everyone. And we have let us hope we have a great 2021. And let's just forget about 2020. Thanks. Bye.